You wake up as a knight. Can you survive 30 days? Day 1. The Waking. You are 19. A gambeson, a quilted linen jacket stuffed with wool, is already laced to your chest. It weighs almost nothing compared to what goes over it. A squire named Tom kneels at your feet, buckling a steel greave to your shin, and he does not look up when you ask where you are. You are a household knight in the service of a minor English lord in a stone keep somewhere on the Welsh March, and it is the year of someone else's war. Full plate, once it is finally on you, weighs close to 50 pounds, distributed across your shoulders, hips, and thighs so evenly that you can still run, climb a ladder, and mount a horse without help. That is not luck. It is roughly 200 years of armorers solving one problem: how to cover a man in steel without making him useless. You do not know how to move in it yet. Tom does. He tells you to trust the straps and stop watching your own feet. Day 3, the yard. Nobody explains anything twice. You are handed an arming sword, a straight double-edged blade a little over 2 pounds, light enough to move fast, heavy enough to break a wrist through mail if you swing it wrong. You spend 4 hours in the practice yard against a wooden post, then against a squire half your size who beats you 3 times out of 5. Your shoulders burn in a way they have never burned before. An old man-at-arms named Watt watches from the wall and says nothing until you drop your guard on the 6th exchange. Then he speaks one sentence. Your sword arm is a door. Leave it open and something walks through it. You do not fully understand him yet. You will. Day 7, the horse. Your destrier is a bay gelding, roughly 15 hands at the shoulder. Not the towering monster you expected, but dense with muscle through the chest and hindquarters. War horses of this period are not larger than ordinary riding horses. They are stronger, trained differently, and worth more than the stone keep you are standing in. You are told the horse cost more than your armor and your sword combined. You believe it the moment you feel him move under you, controlled, coiled, waiting for a signal you have not yet learned to give cleanly. You fall twice in the first hour. Nobody laughs. Falling is how everyone starts. Day 9, the maintenance. Nobody tells you in advance that most of the job is upkeep. Mail rusts if it sits unoiled for even a week. So you spend an hour each evening tumbling your hauberk in a barrel of sand and vinegar to scrub the rust spots off link by link. Your daily ration is bread, salted meat, and thin ale, roughly 3,000 calories, enough to fuel a man carrying steel and swinging a sword for hours, but nothing close to comfortable. Tom eats after you, always, and takes what is left. You notice this on day 9 specifically, because it is the first day you actually notice him at all, rather than just the tasks his hands are doing around you. Day 10, the wall watch. Before any campaign, there is garrison duty, and garrison duty is mostly boredom managed carefully. You stand 2-hour rotations on the keep's outer wall watching a road that rarely produces anything. Watt tells you this is where knights actually die. Not in the famous battles, but in the small, careless moment on an ordinary watch when a man stops paying attention because nothing has happened in 11 straight days. You start counting the fence posts along the tree line just to keep your eyes moving. On the 12th day, something finally moves that is not a fence post. It is a rider coming in fast, carrying a sealed letter. Day 12, the muster. The letter is from the Crown's officer in the region. A town 2 days east has refused to pay its levy and closed its gates to the sheriff's men. You ride out with 40 others, a mix of knights, mounted men-at-arms, and archers. Your kite shield slung across your back and a dagger at your hip for the close work where a sword is too long to be useful. You do not know these men well. You know that in 3 days you will be standing beside them, and that is reason enough to learn their names tonight around the fire, before anything happens that makes the names matter more than they do right now. Day 15, the wall. The town has shut its gates. This is now a siege, and a siege is mostly waiting, punctuated by short bursts of violence that decide everything that comes after. You are assigned to the latter party, the first men up and over when the horn sounds, because you are young, your armor is intact, and someone has to be first. A crossbow bolt can punch through mail at close range but struggles against a well-made breastplate beyond roughly 60 yards. 3 different men have told you this fact in 3 different tones, and none of them made it sound comforting. At dawn, the horns sound. You climb. Day 18, the wound. You survive the wall. Not everyone does. A bolt catches you below the pauldron, the shoulder plate, in the narrow gap where the mail underneath is the only protection you have. It does not go deep, it goes deep enough. The camp physician packs the wound with clean linen soaked in honey, a treatment older than the war itself, and tells you plainly that infection kills more knights than blades do. You spend 6 days in a cot inside a captured merchant's house, listening to men you fought beside walk past the door without stopping, because stopping means acknowledging how close it was. Watt visits once. He does not ask how you feel. He asks if you can still hold a sword. You say yes before you are fully certain it is true. Day 22, the ransom. The town falls. Among the captured is a knight from the other side, roughly your age, his armor better made than yours, his manners sharper. Under the customs of this war, a captured knight of standing is not killed. He is held for ransom, a payment his family will send to free him, sometimes worth more than a year of your wages. You are assigned to guard him for 2 nights while the arrangements are finalized. He asks you calmly why you fight for a lord you have known for less than a year. You do not have a clean answer for him. He nods like he expected exactly that. Some men fight for a name, others fight because the alternative was never offered to them in the first place. Day 26, the field. Word arrives that a relief force is moving to retake the town before the ransom paperwork is even finished. You ride out at first light with the rest of the household knights, formed in a wedge behind your lord's banner, lances leveled. A cavalry charge at full gallop closes 100 yards in under 10 seconds. There is no room inside that number for a plan. There is only the line ahead of you, your shield arm locked, and the noise of 40 horses deciding together that they are not slowing down. Your lance splinters on impact somewhere in the first exchange. You do not remember drawing your sword afterward. You only remember using it. Day 30, the hall. You are still breathing. Not every man who rode out with you can say the same. That night, back inside the stone keep where all of this started, you sit at a long table while a clerk reads casualty names against a list, the way it is always done, plainly, without ceremony. Your name is not on it. Tom refills your cup without being asked. Watt sits across from you and says nothing for a long time, then finally speaks. First month is the hardest one, he says. It does not get easy after this. It gets familiar. You think about the gambeson laced to your chest on the first morning, the horse that cost more than the keep, the sentence about the open door that took you 2 weeks to understand in your hands instead of your head. 30 days ago, you did not know how to fall off a horse correctly. Now you know what it costs to stay on one under fire, and what it costs the men who don't. You were never promised a clean ending. You were promised a chance to still be sitting at this table when the month was over. Tonight, you are. Tomorrow starts the next one.